The great conflicts of our era are not fought with tanks or bombs but with algorithms, fiber optic cables and semiconductor chips. This is a quiet war, one for technological supremacy and global influence, waged between the United States and China. The old world order, defined by American dominance, is fading as a new architecture of power emerges. While Washington was distracted, Beijing was building ports, patents and digital networks that are reshaping the world. From Greek harbors to African 5G networks, Chinese influence is everywhere, subtle but relentless. This is not a simple Cold War redux, it's a complex, high-stakes contest for the future. We'll explore how China is rising, not through conquest, but through strategic accumulation of assets and innovation. The story unfolds from Shenzhen's tech hubs to the digital wallets challenging the US dollar. The stakes are immense, the outcome uncertain, and the world is being quietly but fundamentally transformed. The question, can the US recognize and respond before it's too late? For years, China was seen as the world's factory, endless assembly lines and cheap labor. But while the world bought its goods, China was investing in education, research, and infrastructure. The Made in China 2025 plan marked a shift. China aimed to become a leader in robotics, biotech, and especially information technology. Giants like Alibaba and Tencent emerged, not just copying the West, but innovating for a billion-strong market. Cities like Shenzhen became global tech hubs, rivaling Silicon Valley. In a single generation, China moved from technological dependence to leadership in key sectors. The world, slow to notice, gave Beijing a critical head start in the race for the future. China's ambitions stretch far beyond its borders through the Belt and Road Initiative, a vast network of ports, railways, and digital infrastructure. Each project, from Greek ports to Indian Ocean harbors, is a node in China's expanding web of influence. These assets are dual-use, commercial and strategic, giving China leverage and access across continents. The digital Silk Road extends this reach into cyberspace with undersea cables, and the Beidou satellite system challenging US dominance. Nations accepting BRI loans often find themselves indebted, giving Beijing long-term leverage. When debts can't be repaid, China gains control, like in Sri Lanka's port. This is power built patiently through economic statecraft, not military force. The US is only now waking up to a world where China owns the pathways of global trade. If infrastructure is global power's skeleton, data is its nervous system, and AI is its brain. The US-China race for AI dominance could decide not just economic leadership, but the future of governance and warfare. China's edge, a vast pool of data from 1.4 billion people, and a seamless fusion of state and tech companies. This synergy accelerates AI development in surveillance, policing, and military tech. The US still leads in fundamental research and attracts top global talent, but its approach is fragmented and privacy-focused. The challenge? Can America's decentralized, rights-based model compete with China's top-down, state-driven push? The algorithmic race is on, and the outcome is far from certain. The winner may shape the rules of the digital age. 5G isn't just faster internet, it's the backbone of the future economy, enabling smart cities and AI. The battle over Huawei is about who controls this infrastructure and, by extension, the digital world. Chinese firms backed by state support offer affordable 5G tech globally, outpacing Western rivals. The US warns of security risks. Chinese law could force companies to aid state surveillance or sabotage. Washington has banned Huawei and pressured allies to do the same, with mixed results. This fight is about more than espionage. It's about setting global tech standards and values. China aims to shape the digital world's architecture, embedding its influence for decades. The 5G struggle is a microcosm of the larger US-China tech war. For decades, the US dollar has been the world's financial bedrock, giving America unmatched power. Now China's digital Yuan, a state-controlled central bank digital currency, offers a new challenge. Already trialed by millions, it gives Beijing perfect visibility and control over transactions. Internationally, the digital yuan could let countries bypass the dollar and US sanctions, eroding American leverage. China isn't trying to replace the dollar overnight, but to build a parallel system under its control. The US response has been cautious, creating a window for China to set new standards. If the digital yuan becomes the norm for cross-border payments, global financial power could shift. The future of money is being rewritten in code. In today's world, data is the new oil, and semiconductors are the most critical manufactured good. TikTok, owned by China's ByteDance, is the first Chinese social app to conquer the West, raising fears about data access and influence. Every user interaction feeds algorithms and creates a vast trove of data, sparking US concerns over privacy and manipulation. The bigger battle is over semiconductors, the brains of all digital devices. The US leads in chip design, but manufacturing is concentrated in Asia, especially Taiwan's TSMC. China, the world's largest chip consumer, lags in making advanced chips, a vulnerability the US exploits with export controls. Washington's restrictions aim to slow China's tech and military progress. In response, Beijing is investing massively to achieve chip self-sufficiency. The outcome, if China succeeds, it overcomes its greatest tech weakness. If not, its ambitions stall. The chip war is a high-stakes gamble for both sides. The US has shifted from engagement to full-spectrum competition with China. Tariffs, tech blacklists, and export controls are now tools to slow China's advance and protect American interests. The CHIPS Act and similar policies aim to rebuild US manufacturing and secure critical supply chains. Diplomatically, America is rallying allies through pacts like AUKUS and the Quad to counter China's influence. The message: the US can't confront China alone, it needs a coalition of democracies. This is a historic shift in American strategy, blending economic, technological, and diplomatic power. The outcome will shape whether China's rise is managed or fractures the global system. The counteroffensive is underway, but the contest is far from over. US-China rivalry is forcing nations to choose sides, ending the era of easy globalization. Europe, once focused on trade with China, now sees Beijing as a systemic rival, but remains divided. Developing nations weigh Chinese investment against Western values, seeking to balance both without becoming pawns. Middle powers like India and Brazil are hedging, building ties with both Washington and Beijing. The result, a fragmented, unpredictable world, with shifting alliances and new coalitions. The old certainties are gone, replaced by a multipolar, contested landscape. Nations are navigating a great sorting, extracting benefits from both sides. The global order is being redrawn in real time. The choices made now will define the next era. Beneath the surface, a shadow war rages. Espionage, cyber attacks, and covert influence. US officials call Chinese espionage the greatest long-term threat to national security. The FBI opens a new China-related counterintelligence case every 10 hours, targeting everything from defense contractors to universities. Methods range from cyber theft to recruiting insiders, aiming to leapfrog years of research. Talent programs entice scientists to transfer knowledge back to China, fueling suspicion and fear. The US conducts its own operations, but officials argue China's whole-of-society approach is harder to counter. This shadow conflict blurs the line between state and private enterprise, challenging open societies. The whispers in the wires remind us, this is a war with no clear boundaries. China's rise is formidable. Its economy, tech, and influence are expanding rapidly. The central question, can the West compete, or is China's lead insurmountable? The US still has powerful advantages: military strength, innovative markets, top universities, and a global alliance network. The appeal of democracy and liberty, though challenged, remains strong. Yet, China's system enables long-term planning and rapid mobilization, while US politics are polarized and slow. The race isn't just about speed, but about who stumbles. China faces its own vulnerabilities: debt, demographics, and the limits of authoritarianism. The West's renewal and China's potential missteps will decide the outcome. The contest is as much about resilience as it is about power. The quiet war continues, fought in code, commerce, and ideas. China has won key battles in industry and infrastructure, but the final outcome is unwritten. The US has a history of reinvention and deep strengths in innovation and alliances. This is a test of two systems: centralized control versus democratic dynamism. The greatest risk may be a slow, unnoticed shift in global power, not a dramatic confrontation. The real battlefield is in the networks, standards, and ideas shaping the future. The conflict is already here, unfolding in the background of our daily lives. Its most crucial chapters are still to be written.